basically a foam filler. You can get this on our Amazon store. And as you can see from the picture, you use it to, fill up holes and stuff around pipes. I'm sure you probably have this laying around. You should use gloves with this. I'm just going to say this out loud. I never do, and it's usually a problem. But it is real nasty stuff to get off. So please use gloves until you're a little bit better at using it. All right. So again, a few ways that we've used it is using it as, actually, we did it as the guts, and it kind of just sprays, you spray it on, and it dries, and then you kind of get into it. This dries as styrofoam, so you can actually hack into it and make rocks like this. As you can see, we have a project down here that we're actually going to try it using Cave. You have to do it on each side of it and let it dry. Usually takes a couple hours to dry, but I kind of had these things laying all over the place to use them. So there's a couple of different ways we're going to do it today. We're going to do it actually on a diorama to try to build up some interesting stuff like this. And then we're actually going to just do it on sheets of plastic. It does not stick to sheets of plastic. So you can literally just take it, blow a little foam, decide how big you want. Da, 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 da. Okay, that's a good one. Now remember, this expands almost like 400 times the size. So don't get crazy, because this is going to get big. Let's do a couple. These will probably melt together. But it's good to do these, set them aside, and then go back to them, pull them out the plastic, and we'll show you how to carve into them. Now we're going to do one directly onto our styrofoam. Just kind of freestyle this. Let it build up. You can also put pieces of styrofoam underneath this to be support, so you can kind of build up on top of the structure. But usually when you're doing things like this and you want to get some height and you want to actually get some shape, it's best to build things onto your platform, because see how it kind of falls over. But it will dry and turn into something funky. Then you go back on and do another layer, another layer, another layer. Make sure you clean your tip off, because it's going to be impossible if you don't. We're going to let these dry, and then we'll come back. All right, guys, so here we are. Our foam cave set. Nice and hard. I let it sit overnight for about a day. As you can see, our little rocks that we placed on our sheets are done. They just pick right off of this plastic, which is great. Again, if you stick it on anything else, it's not coming off. So we have a few of these bad boys. And these can be staged all over to kind of give it a three-dimensional look. You can use these as is for certain types of caves, lava forms and da-da-da-da-da. But this, a desert cave does not make. So what we're going to do is we're going to hack into this and give it some dimensions, right? Because real rocks are kind of slashed and angled. This foam, do not use your heat wand on. It's very toxic. It doesn't cut quick. It's not good. Unless you're outside and you want to try it. It takes a very long time. The best thing that we do to carve this bad boy is just an old bread knife. Don't tell my other half that I took this out of the cabinet because I'll be in trouble. So give me 2 seconds. Let's start hacking into this. Okay, so literally we're just going to do some random angles. We don't want anything too circular or smooth. We're just gonna saw off and kind of dig into this. You will see that there are little foam bubbles in here. That's gonna kind of happen naturally. What we're gonna do with this, once we have our angles, is we're gonna patch it with just a little Bondo. It also gives another interesting texture to the rocks before we paint, and it'll all make sense. So I'm gonna hack into this really quick so you can see next steps. All right, so now we've carved up even our flat rocks, you know, nothing too random. If you notice, I did it from different angles, in and out and over, because you don't want any patterns to kind of occur. You want to hack into it. We've cut up these little pieces because when you're done, you can kind of stage them all over to give one more dimensional look. We are going to do a little groundwork here on our project. We're going to dig this out a little bit to give it some depth. Obviously, we're doing a cave before we start painting it. You'll notice that I added some styrofoam into the back to kind of give it some structure. I'm not sweating that because I'm either going to dig it out before I start painting, or I am going to add some rocks and things on top of it where you can't see it. Same up here, I still have where I did my peaks, but I'm going to cover those up before I paint and before I carve this base up. So hang tight. I'll show that if you guys want to see it, and then I'll get into painting. Oh, this is one other important part. All these little things that kind of saved off, there's some of this stuff here that you could use. So these would actually, you know, fit in when I do my groundwork. So I really kind of keep everything until the project's completely done. Forgot to tell you about that. All right, guys, we got everything kind of carved out the way that we want it. Next, we're going to do some quick spackling. We are going to use just a depth, fast, dry, regular, soft spackling to go over to fill in some of these bubbly loops and to give some stuff some more rocky textures. And then we're going to start adding on our pieces on top before we start painting, get everything kind of squared out. All right,